Tonight, a world where the sky has no bottom, where the ground is a myth and the only solid thing you'll ever touch is the memory of gravity. Out there, beyond the familiar blue, there are planets wrapped in methane clouds so deep they never see the sun. And yet, they hold something stranger than rock or ocean, life that never lands. Imagine drifting without end, suspended in layers of cold gas that stretch for thousands of miles. No floor, no horizon, just the slow pulse of a world that breathes in convection currents. Here, a creature could be born, live and die without ever knowing what it means to fall. Because falling is just a long, gentle drift. We call them super-Earths, these giants of frozen air, but they are not Earth at all. They are floating kingdoms of hydrogen and haze where the only anchor is the wind. And in their murky twilight, something stirs. What does it mean to exist without a surface beneath you? To be made of lightness, tethered only to a breath. Tonight, you leave the ground behind. Tonight, you are not falling, you are floating. The methane clouds part like amethyst silk. Ahead, a life form as wide as a city dreams through the dark. You dream with it. Listen. In that dream, you start to feel the architecture beneath the drift. The world you are moving through, it has no floor, no bedrock, no solid ground to anchor your weight. Only layers upon layers of gas, each one thicker, heavier, darker than the last. And yet, you are not falling, because there is nowhere to fall to. Think of it like this. Imagine a bubble in the deep ocean. The bubble rises because the water around it is denser. It has no choice. Now imagine that bubble is the size of a world made mostly of hydrogen and helium with a whisper of methane. That is a super-Earth, or a mini-Neptune. These planets form far from their suns, where it is cold enough for gas to cling to a rocky core. But the core is tiny. In some cases, the core might be only a few times the mass of Earth, buried under an atmosphere 10,000 miles deep. And that atmosphere, it is not a shell around a solid sphere. It is the planet. The surface you would stand on, if you could stand, is simply a pressure level, a boundary where the gas becomes thick enough to feel like ground. But there is no ground, only more gas pressing down, layer upon layer, until the pressure would crush you. Methane. That is the color you see, not blue like our oceans. A deep, dusty purple, like amethyst smoke. Methane is a simple molecule, 1 carbon, 4 hydrogens. On Earth, it is a gas we burn for heat. But here, in the cold twilight of this world, it is the very air you breathe. Or rather, the medium you float in. Because there is no breath, no inhale. You are drifting through a sea of methane, ethane, and nitrogen. A sea without waves, only slow, rolling currents driven by the planet's rotation and the faint heat from below. Now, how does a world like this stay together? Gravity. Gravity holds the atmosphere, but it does not pull it down to a solid surface, because there is no surface to pull it to. The gas simply thickens with depth. Imagine walking into a fog that grows denser and denser until the fog becomes water and the water becomes jelly. That is what happens here. Except the jelly is hydrogen compressed into a liquid metal at the core. But that core is far, far below. You will never reach it. And you do not need to. The life here lives in the upper layers where the temperature is mild and the pressure is gentle, where the methane condenses into droplets and the sunlight filters through a haze of complex organic molecules. Tholins, they are called. They give the sky its reddish-brown tint, like the smog over a distant city, but beautiful. So what does it mean to exist in such a place? It means you are never anchored, You rise and fall with the convection cells, like a leaf caught in a slow planetary breath. The word foundation loses its meaning. You have no foundation, only the constant, gentle embrace of the gas around you, and that is freedom. In a world without a floor, the only direction is inward, or upward, or sideways, but mostly inward into the deeper, warmer layers, because that is where the energy is. Not from the sun. The sun is a dim, distant spark in this part of the galaxy. The energy comes from the planet itself, residual heat from its formation, plus the slow compression of its own gravity. That heat drives the weather, the slow, stately winds that carry you along. And here, in the calm upper haze, the first seeds of life might form. Not as we know it, not as cells or DNA, but as simple membranes floating in the organic soup of the atmosphere. Think of a soap bubble, but filled with hydrogen, a bubble that can grow and split and drift for centuries. That is the foundation of aerial life, a buoyancy that never fails. So you float. And as you float, you begin to realize that there is no rush, no horizon to reach, no ground to touch, only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the methane clouds, parting and closing around you like a billion gentle hands. You are part of the atmosphere now, part of the foundation that has no form. Tonight, the clouds are singing, not a sound you hear with your ears, a vibration, deep and low, that travels through the hydrogen and methane. It hums in your bones, a lullaby from a world that has never known silence. The creatures around you, if you can call them creatures, they are not separate from this song. They are the song. Their bodies are woven from the same gas that carries you. Thin membranes, like soap bubbles, but tougher. Transparent, almost invisible in the dim purple light. They drift. They never hurry. Why would they? There is no ground to fall toward, no predator that can outrun the slow sway of the currents. Their lives are measured in years, not minutes, decades perhaps. A single creature might take a century to travel from one cloud layer to the next. And when it finally arrives, it simply continues. There is no destination, only the endless drift. You watch one approach. It is huge, bigger than a house, bigger than a cathedral, but it moves so slowly that you barely notice the space it occupies. It is a ghost, a gentle giant. It passes through you, and you feel nothing, only a whisper of coolness on your skin, a faint pressure, like a kiss from the wind. The creature moves on. You are left alone again. The clouds around you are thick. They are not white. They are the color of old amber, with a hint of violet deep in the folds. The air is getting warmer, not hot, just a slow change, like stepping into a room that has been heated by the sun all afternoon. You feel it on your skin, the pressure too. It builds gently, like being wrapped in layers of silk. Below you now, the haze is darker. The light from the distant star filters through. It is a dim, rusty glow, like dusk on a world you have never seen. The methane is no longer just a gas. It is beginning to condense. Tiny droplets form around you. They are invisible at first, just a coolness on your cheek. But soon you see them, a faint mist, like breath on a cold morning. It swirls with the currents, slow, hypnotic. The droplets are methane and ethane. They do not feel wet, more like a fine dust. You drift lower. The mist thickens. Now it is like moving through a dream. Everything is muted. Sounds are swallowed. There is a constant low hum. The wind, maybe, or the vibration of the atmosphere itself. And then you see them again. More of the floating giants. They are everywhere. Dozens. Some are small like your hand. Others are vast like hills. They hang in the haze, motionless, almost asleep. One of them pulses. A slow wave of light travels through its body, from the center outward, like a heartbeat. But it is not a heartbeat. It is a chemical exchange, a response to the dim light. These creatures are powered by the faint glow filtered through miles of cloud. They do not need the sun directly. They live on scattered photons. You watch the pulse fade. Another creature drifts close. It is different, more elongated, like a ribbon of smoke. It brushes past you. You feel the faintest touch, like cobwebs. Its surface is cool and damp. The pressure is increasing now. You are deep in the troposphere. The temperature is above the condensation point of methane, but it is still cold. Colder than any place on Earth, yet these creatures thrive here. They have internal warmth, generated by the slow metabolism of hydrogen and methane. One of the larger ones opens, a slit along its side, like a mouth. But it is not for eating. It releases a stream of tiny bubbles. They rise, slowly. Each bubble is a colony of smaller organisms. They will drift upward, to where the light is stronger, to grow, and eventually descend again. This is the cycle, an endless rising and falling. The creatures are not anchored. They are part of the flow. Convection currents move them. Warm gas rises, cool gas sinks. They ride these rivers of air. You feel the same currents now. Your drift is not random. It is guided by the same physics, the same gentle hand. You rise, then fall, like a leaf in water. The light shifts. It is getting dimmer. You are sinking deeper into the methane layer. The color deepens, from amber to brown, to a dark, rich purple, like the skin of a ripe fruit. But nothing here is ripe. It is ancient, unchanging. Another sound emerges, a low rumble, like distant thunder. But it does not come from above. It comes from below, from the depths. The storm is far beneath you. A slow, rolling disturbance, not violent, more like the breathing of a giant, deep and regular. The rumble vibrates through your body. It is soothing, like the hum of a ship's engine. The pressure changes slightly. The droplets around you vibrate, they shimmer. Tiny specks of light caught in the sound waves, a dance of methane and thunder. You're in a band of thicker cloud now. The visibility drops. You can barely see your own hand, but you feel the presence of the others, the creatures around you. They are all moving together, carried by the same slow pulse, the storm's rhythm. One of them is directly in front of you. You cannot see it, but you know it is there. A mass of warmth in the cold. You reach out. Your hand touches something soft, like damp skin. It gives slightly. Then you feel a vibration, a low note. The creature is humming. It is a form of communication, a slow, low-frequency call. Other hums answer. They fill the cloud. A chorus of deep sounds. You are surrounded by their song. It is not music. It is something older, like the atmosphere itself singing. The hums weave together. They rise and fall, matching the pressure waves. The storm's roar becomes a harmony. You feel it in your chest, a gentle thrum, like being inside a drum, but a drum that is alive. Time passes. You do not know how long. Minutes, hours. The concept fades. There is only the drift. The hum continues. It is constant now, like background noise, but it changes slowly, a shift in pitch. The creatures are adjusting. They are moving upward, following a thermal current. You are carried with them. The cloud thins, light returns, a pale amber glow. The purple is gone. Now the sky is a soft orange, like the inside of a ripe pumpkin. The other creatures are visible again. They float around you, their hums fading. The storm is far below. You are in a region of stable air, warm and still. The pressure is lighter. You feel buoyant, almost as if you could rise forever. But there is no forever here, only layers. Ahead, the orange clouds part. You see a gap, a darker region, like a deep canyon in the sky. But it is not a canyon. It is a downdraft, a falling column of cool gas. You drift toward it, carried by the current. As you approach, the temperature drops. The warmth is left behind. You enter the downdraft. It is faster than you expected. A gentle acceleration, like sliding down a smooth slope. The pressure rises again. The creatures around you descend as well. They are all falling together, a silent flock. Their bodies tilt, streamlined. They know how to ride these currents. You watch one ahead of you. It folds its tendrils, like a bird tucking its wings. It falls faster, then spreads them again, slowing. You try to imitate, but you have no tendrils. You just fall, and it feels natural, like breathing. The downdraft ends. You emerge into a wide, open space. The clouds are sparse here. The light is a dull red, like the inside of a dying star. But it is not dying. It is just far away. The creatures spread out. They drift apart, each one finding its own path. You are alone again. The hum is gone. Only the low whisper of the wind remains, a constant companion. You look around. There is no up, no down, only directions relative to the light. The light is a patch of dim red above, but it is not above. It is simply where the star is. You orient yourself toward it, and you begin to rise, slowly. The ascent is peaceful. The pressure decreases, like shedding a heavy coat. The temperature drops slightly. The methane droplets around you evaporate. The mist thins. You are returning to the upper haze. Below, the creatures are still there. You see them as tiny dots, moving with the currents. They are countless, an ocean of life in the sky. You are part of it now, for a moment, before you drift further. The red light becomes brighter. The haze turns a deeper shade, like blood diluted with cloud. But there is no blood here, only the slow chemistry of methane and radiation. You notice a faint scent, not like anything on Earth. Sharp, like ozone mixed with tar. It is the tholin haze, the residue of photochemistry. Tiny particles that drift down. They coat everything. The creatures are covered in a fine layer, like dust. One of the smaller ones floats near. Its surface is rough, covered in the tholin dust. It brushes against your arm. The dust comes off. It feels gritty, like fine sand, but it drifts away, carried by the wind. You realize these particles are everywhere. They are the building blocks, the organic compounds that could one day form something more. But here they just float and settle and drift again. A slow cycle of creation and dispersal. The light is fading. The star is setting. Not setting. The planet is turning. You are moving into the night side. The red dims to black. The clouds become invisible. Now you are in darkness. Total. Complete. But it is not empty. You hear the hum of the creatures. They are still here. They do not need light. They live in the temperature gradients, in the chemical differences. The dark is just another layer, another room in the house of clouds. You feel a faint warmth rising from below. The night side is colder, but the heat from the planet's interior seeps upward, slow, like a gentle breath. The creatures sense it. They begin to descend again, following the warmth. And you follow them, because there is nothing else to do. No destination, only the rhythm of the atmosphere, the endless pulse of rising and falling, the slow, deep song of a world without a flaw. You are part of it, for as long as you let yourself be. Tonight, the darkness is deeper, not the black of empty space, but a thick, heavy violet, like velvet pressing against your skin. The methane clouds glow faintly, absorbing what little starlight reaches this deep. You cannot see your own hands, but you feel the pressure shift. A creature passes nearby. You sense it before you see it. A slow displacement of gas. A change in the subtle breeze against your face. Its body is vast, perhaps a kilometer wide. A living balloon of translucent flesh. No bones, no need for bones. Only membranes and chambers of lighter gas. It drifts without effort. You reach out. Your fingers brush against something, not solid, not liquid. A film, like the surface of a soap bubble, but warm, warmer than the air around it. It shivers at your touch, and then it passes, leaving only the memory of its presence. Below you, the atmosphere grows denser. Pressure doubles, then triples. Your body adjusts. The methane smell is faint, like old metal or distant rain. Somewhere far below, the temperature rises, but you never reach it. You stay here, in this middle layer, where the clouds are thin enough to see through and thick enough to hold you. There is another, smaller, a cluster of beings. They move together, not in a herd, more like a dance, a slow, synchronized turning. They spiral around each other. You watch. Minutes pass, or hours. Time loses meaning here. The rhythm of your breathing slows, matches the pulse of the planet. A deep, low hum coming from the core. You close your eyes and drift. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to fear, just the endless fall, without end, without beginning. And it is peaceful. The methane fog wraps around you, like a blanket of ancient air. You feel it pressing gently, not heavy, just present. Your thoughts begin to thin, dissolving into the haze. Each one a tiny ripple, spreading outward, then gone. You are not falling anymore. You are simply here, floating in a slow, silent tide. The planet breathes, a deep, rhythmic expansion. You breathe with it. No need to understand, no need to remember, just the sensation of drifting through a world made of cloud. The colors shift from violet to deep indigo, like the sky at twilight, but there is no sun here, only a soft, diffuse glow coming from somewhere below. You let your eyes unfocus. The edges of things blur, the distant lightning pulses. A slow, silent heartbeat. Each flash a reminder that you are alive and that time is passing, but not for you. The stillness deepens. It wraps around your mind, like the fog wraps around your body. There is no past here, no future. Only this moment, this endless, weightless moment. You imagine the creatures around you, vast and silent, drifting in the same slow current. They do not notice you. You are just another shadow in the methane deep. Part of the same endless drift. A sound rises, very low, a hum from the planet's interior. It vibrates through your chest, a pure, steady note, like a tuning fork for the universe. You listen until it fades, until there is only silence again. The silence breathes. You breathe with it. One breath, another. The fog thickens, the light dims further. You are falling deeper, but there is no bottom. There never was. Rest now. Let the weightlessness hold you. Let the methane sleep take you. Slowly, gently, drifting, forever. And yet, forever is not a destination. It is a shape, a curve that bends back on itself. Stars die the same way, not with a scream, not with a flash. They simply forget. A star like this one, no, not like this one. A star born from the same cloud of methane and dust. It burns for billions of years. Then the hydrogen runs out. The core contracts. The outer layers swell, a red giant, bloated and patient. It sheds its skin into the void. And what remains? A cinder, a white dwarf cooling for trillions of years. Not a star anymore, just a memory of light. But even that fades. Eventually, even the white dwarfs go dark. They become black dwarfs, cold, dense, silent. But there are other paths. Some stars are heavier. They cannot stop collapsing. The core crushes itself into a point, a singularity. The event horizon forms, a sphere of no return, a black hole. These are the slowest things. They drift through galaxies like forgotten thoughts. They swallow debris. They merge with each other. Their gravity hums at frequencies too low for ears. But the hum is there, a constant bass note through the universe. And then something remarkable happens. Black holes evaporate. Very slowly. It is called Hawking radiation, a whisper from the edge of the event horizon. A particle escapes. Another. The black hole shrinks. Over eons, it becomes a tear in space-time that can no longer hold itself. It vanishes. Not with a bang, but with a final tiny burst of light. A last breath. The universe grows dark. All the stars fade. All the black holes dissolve. Only particles remain, spread thin as the space between them stretches. Heat death. Not cold exactly, just even. The temperature everywhere is the same. No gradients, no work to do. But here, now, in this moment, what is time to a drifting mind? The methane clouds still roll, the creatures still float. They do not know about the far future. Neither do you. That is the gift of the drift. So come back to the breath, the one that moves in your chest. Inhale, exhale. The universe ends in a sigh like yours. Same rhythm, same gentle fall. Nothing to hold, nothing to fear. The grand scale settles into your pulse. A star dies in a sigh. A black hole fades in a whisper. And you are still here, breathing, drifting. One more breath, one more silence, then the next. The methane veil wraps around you. The pressure deepens slowly. Warmth from below, a gentle current. The creatures shift around you, unseen but felt. Their hydrogen-filled bodies rise and fall with the same tide that moves your lungs. In and out. Rise and fall. Endless. Listen. The deepest hum is still there. It is the sound of gravity folding light. It is the sound of a black hole shrinking. It is the sound of your own heart. They are the same. They have always been the same. So rest in this continuity. The stars are not gone. They are just sleeping in your memory. The giants are still drifting. You are among them. No ground, no end, only the slow, patient evaporation of all things into peace. And when you wake, if you wake, the methane clouds will still be there. The drift will still carry you. But for now, there is only this. One breath. Another. The universe breathing with you forever. Tonight, the methane clouds have no name out here. They are just layers, layer after layer, a stack of worlds without ground. You are somewhere between them, not falling, not rising, just held by the thick, cold air. Imagine a sky that goes on forever, but not the sky you know. This sky has no blue. It is a slow, dark purple, like the inside of a bruise that has not yet formed. And it smells, if you could smell it, like old iron and wet stone. But you cannot smell it. You are not really here. You are just listening. Somewhere in these layers, there are creatures. Not like anything that walks or swims. They are made of the same stuff as the clouds. Thin membranes. Gas-filled sacs. They drift in herds, thousands of them. Their bodies are translucent, like jellyfish, but huge, the size of a house or a stadium. They feed on the chemicals that rise from deeper down. Ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, things that would kill you in an instant, but to them, it is life. They absorb it through their skin. They convert it into slow, lazy energy. They do not need to hunt. They do not need to move fast. Sometimes two of them bump into each other. They merge for a moment, then separate. A silent exchange. There is no sound up here, except the wind. The wind is always blowing. It flows in huge, slow currents, like the turning of a roundabout. You are floating in that wind. Below you, the clouds get darker. They become almost black. That is where the pressure is too high, where the air becomes dense as water. And then it stops. No surface, just a gradual thickening, a pressure that goes on and on. But you do not go down there. You stay in the upper layers, where the light is faint, like twilight, a sun that is just a brighter spot in the purple. It never moves. It hangs in the same place forever. So there is no day, no night, only a permanent soft dusk. The creatures down here see by feeling. They sense the movement of the air. They feel the faint warmth of other bodies. They do not need eyes. Their skin is their eye. Their entire being is a single giant sense organ. Imagine being that. No memories, no plans, only the present moment, the drift, the slight change in pressure, the distant rumble of a storm miles below. You could drift for years, decades, a whole lifetime. But time doesn't move here the way it does on Earth. It stretches, it slows. The methane clouds move so slowly they might as well be still. And the creatures move with them, like leaves on a pond. There is no hunger, no thirst, no need to sleep. Just a constant, gentle awareness, a slow pulse, like the planet itself is breathing. And you are just another breath, carried along, without purpose, without destination. Just the slow, patient evaporation of all things into peace. Tonight, you are not falling asleep. You are rising into the endless purple. The giants are still drifting. You are among them. No ground, no end, only this. One breath, another. The universe breathing with you forever. Tonight, the scale of this world has no name, no map, only the slow drift of continents made of gas. These clouds are not clouds the way you know them. They are layers, hundreds of miles thick, each one a different shade of violet and rust. A sky that never ends, because there is no ground. Somewhere far below, if below means anything here, the pressure would crush the bones of any world you came from. But here, you are not a body. You are a thought, a whisper in the methane wind, floating. Imagine it, a creature that has never felt stone, never touched dirt. Its whole existence is a fall that never ends. It breathes the same air it swims through. It eats the light, the mist, the slow chemistry of a world without borders. It has no shadow. Because the sun, if you could call that dim orange ember a sun, casts no hard lines here. Everything is soft, diffuse, like a dream that forgot to end. The light takes minutes to fall through these layers, and by the time it reaches you, It is already tired, warm, old. Tonight, you are not a body. You are a current, a temperature difference, a slight change in density that the giants feel as a breeze. They do not see you. They do not need to. You are part of their atmosphere now, a memory that drifts, a thought that dissolves. And the silence here is not empty, it is full of the hum of chemical dance, the faint crackle of lightning in deeper layers, the groan of pressure belts shifting like slow tides. You can almost hear the planets breathing. If you listen long enough, if you forget your own rhythm. There are storms that have been spinning for centuries, calm ones. They do not rage, they sing, a low, steady note that travels through the hydrogen. You are inside that song now. It has no beginning, no end, just a vibration that carries you. And you notice your own thoughts are slowing, matching the drift. Each idea a little softer, a little less sharp, like the edges of these clouds blurring into the next layer. You do not need to hold on to anything. Let it go. The methane mist is better at remembering. It has been doing this for longer than your species has existed. Somewhere in this endless purple, a billion miles from any star you could name, a creature as large as a mountain is turning. Slowly. Its mass distorts the air around it. It does not know you are here. It does not care. And that is the most beautiful thing. You are not important. You are just another mote of dust in a wind that has no destination. Let that be enough. Let your weight dissolve into this atmosphere. Every worry you carried, it cannot breathe here. It falls away, like a droplet of rain that never hits the ground. Evaporating before it even knows it existed, into this quiet. And the giants do not notice, but you notice them. Their slow pulse, their patient drift. They have been here forever, not waiting, not growing, just being. And for a while, you can be part of that. No ground beneath you, no roof above, just the infinite gradient of gas and pressure and light. And you, suspended, perfectly held, by nothing at all. Tonight, you are not falling asleep. You are becoming the space between the clouds, a place where time forgets to tick. And the methane giants, they are your breathing now. Keep drifting. There is no hurry. The universe has nowhere to go, and neither do you. Tonight, you are not a person anymore. You are a point of awareness, floating, weightless. The methane clouds wrap around you like an old, forgotten song. There is no ground, no horizon, no up or down, just the slow, silent drift of molecules brushing against your skin. And somewhere, far beyond the haze, a tiny blue dot spins in the dark. You came from there, but right now, that memory is as thin as the air around you. Think of all the things that once felt so heavy. The deadlines, the arguments, the loneliness, the way your heart raced over words that vanished hours later. Here, none of that exists. The pressure of the deep atmosphere holds you gently, not crushing, not pushing, just cradling, like the universe finally decided to let you rest. Tonight, you are not a body. You are a pattern of thoughts drifting through a sea of hydrogen and methane. And the thoughts are slowing down too. There is a kind of peace in being insignificant, not unimportant, just small, so small that the weight of your worries cannot find you. The giants around you, those balloon-like creatures that live their whole lives without ever touching anything solid, they do not think about their place in the cosmos. They drift, they feed, they rise and fall with the warm currents, and then they dissolve back into the haze. You are like them tonight. The planet beneath you, if you can call it a planet, has no crust, no mantle, no core you could stand on. It is mostly atmosphere, wrapped around a small, quiet heart of rock. And that rock is so deep, so far below, that it might as well be a dream. You will never touch it, and you do not need to. Everything you ever did on that blue dot, every laugh, every tear, every moment you thought was permanent, it all happened in a thin film of air on a speck of dust orbiting an ordinary star. And that star is just one of billions in a galaxy that is just one of billions. Does that make you feel empty, or does it make you feel free? Free. Tonight, the methane clouds are your bed. The slow, deep thunder of distant storms is your heartbeat. And the silence between lightning flashes, that is where you live now. The creatures around you have no words. They do not need them. They communicate with pressure changes, a slight rise in temperature, a shift in the wind, and you understand them somehow. Not with your mind, with your breath. You are becoming part of the weather. The gas giants do not judge. They do not remember. They simply are. And for this one night, you simply are too. There is a philosophy written in the clouds of these worlds. Nothing needs to last forever to matter. A methane droplet forms, falls, evaporates. A creature rises on a thermal plume, then sinks. A storm swirls for 100 years, then fades. And the universe does not mourn, it simply continues. You are that droplet tonight, falling without falling. The pale blue dot, the place where you once belonged, it is still there, still spinning, still holding its tiny collection of dramas and dreams. But you have unmoored yourself. You have become a visitor in a world without boundaries. And in this world, there is no past, no future, just the slow, patient now. Listen to the rumble. It is not a sound your ears would recognize on Earth. It is deeper, slower, like the planet itself is humming a lullaby. You are safe in this hum. The pressure around you is increasing, very gently, but you do not fight it. You let it press into your chest, your lungs, your thoughts. It is not pressure, it is embrace. Imagine all the humans who have ever lived, their loves, their wars, their little triumphs and quiet defeats, all of them on that blue dot. And here you are, miles above any solid ground, drifting through an atmosphere that has never known a footprint. You are the first, and you will not leave a mark. That is the gift of this place. It does not ask anything of you. It does not need your attention, your effort, your hope. It simply exists and invites you to exist alongside it. The methane snow that falls around you, it is not cold like Earth snow. It is cold in a way that numbs your sense of time. Each crystal forms, spirals down, and is gone. And you watch. There is nothing to do here, nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. You have finally found a place where being is enough. The giants in the distance, they are not moving toward you or away from you. They are simply moving, without purpose, without destination, and you float among them, a speck beside their enormity. But even a speck is part of the whole. Tonight, the whole cosmos is breathing, and you are the space between its breaths. Let go of the name you carried. Let go of the voice that told you to be afraid. Let go of the need to understand. Just drift. The pale blue dot will still be there when you return, but right now you are not returning. You are not going anywhere. You are here, in the methane deep, in the quiet pressure, in the lonely, beautiful dark. And you are not alone. You are the cloud. You are the drift. You are the silence between the stars. Tonight, you are becoming the space between the clouds, a place where time forgets to tick, and the methane giants, they are your breathing now. Tonight, the clouds are not above you, they are you. Every methane crystal, every frozen droplet, every slow drift of vapor, that's what your thoughts have become. You don't breathe the atmosphere, you are the atmosphere. There is no ground to fall toward, no up, no down, just a gentle suspension, like a sigh that never ends. Imagine a creature that spends its entire life in freefall, born in the turbulence of a high-altitude current, growing across centuries of slow descent, never once feeling the weight of a surface against its form. That's you now, not a human watching, a presence, a thing that drifts because drifting is all there is. The methane giants around you, they are not creatures in the way you understand life. They are weather patterns with consciousness, storms that learn, pockets of gas that remember. And somewhere out in that endless violet haze, another drift meets yours, not touching, just sharing the same silence. You don't need to find it. You don't need to name it. You just are. Here, in the deep, in the methane, in the long, slow fall that will never end. Tonight you have no destination. You have no body to carry. You are the quiet space between two clouds that will never meet. And the storm passes like a thought you don't need to hold. The deep thunder fades into the hum of the clouds. You are still here, still drifting. The methane rain falls upward, then sideways, then forgets which way is down. You forget too. There is no ground to remember, no horizon to miss, only the soft weight of the atmosphere holding you like warm water. The creatures around you pulse with slow light. They have no names. They have no hurry. They have been breathing this sky for millions of years. You breathe with them now, one tide, one rhythm. The stars above are hidden behind the haze, but you feel them. You feel the whole galaxy pressing down gently through layers of gas and distance. This is not leaving, this is arriving, into the place where your thoughts become silent, where your heartbeat matches the slow pulse of a world that never sleeps. Let it hold you. Let the methane clouds wrap around your mind. Let the darkness be soft. Let the drift be endless. Tonight, you are not falling. You are being kept by gravity, by gas, by time. And when the last image dissolves into the purple dark, you will still be here, Not awake, not asleep, somewhere between. Good night. Good night to the giants. Good night to the silent storm. Good night to the deep.